Hello, and welcome to Writing Tips with Rachel. Today I'm sharing some techniques for infusing your stories with humor, even if you don't consider your book a humorous book. I write about some difficult emotional topics in many of my books for young readers, but I love infusing those stories with humor to balance out the emotional places. Humor is a great element for toning down sadness in scenes or diffusing tension or drama that sometimes stretches tight in our stories. Readers, especially young ones, love those moments of levity. Here are some ways to add humor to your stories. Number one, the main character. The voice of your main character is ripe for humor. The way she sees the world, the way she describes her life or what she sees, how she communicates her beliefs and viewpoints. All of these things can be filtered through a humorous lens, through the voice of our character. When I say voice in this particular instance, I'm talking about the way a character speaks, not just in dialogue, but in the way she tells her story. Even if you're telling a story in third person, you can use humor in your own voice for the telling. You can use techniques like exaggeration, surprise, puns, telling straight up jokes, random blurts during conversations. All of these things can add humor. My favorites include sarcasm, outlandish metaphors and similes, and observations or ways of saying something that take my reader by surprise. Surprise is good for laughs. Number two, other characters. Take a cue from comedy movies and build a character who's there for comic relief. You can use the same techniques I listed for the main character. Their voice, their ways of seeing the world, their sarcasm, all of that can add humor to the narrative. The things they do can also be humorous. The disasters and complications they cause, the surprises they create or receive. Some of my favorite funny other characters are pets. What is funnier than dogs and cats acting like dogs and cats? I also like using young siblings in my books for young readers, or babies and children in my adult books. Kids are hilarious without even really trying. Number three, situations. Characters can always get themselves into humorous situations. A trap, a moment of embarrassment, a mishap, some kind of physical blunder, social missteps. There are all kinds of situations we can use for humor. Sandra Bullock in The Proposal, one of my favorite romantic comedies, has a whole dance scene that still makes me laugh until I cry, even though I've seen it a billion times. Now that you have some techniques and ideas, let's look at what not to do with humor in stories. Number one, rely on cliches. There are a lot of them. So when you're putting humor into your story, don't just reach for the easy stuff. In books for young people, probably younger than 13, one or two fart jokes are okay, but after that, they get less funny. Some cliches like the ditzy girl should probably die out, along with the bumbling dad who has no idea how to take care of his children, the neurotic wife who tries to control everything. If it's offensive, don't use it. Number two, don't try too hard or go overboard with the humor you're trying to communicate. If you have to explain a joke, is it really funny? It's the same with your writing. I'm sure we've all been exposed to books or movies or even comedians who are just trying a little bit too hard. You can always tell. Even comedy can be understated. Some of the funniest jokes are the ones that don't hit you too hard, that surprise you, that don't have to explain. Number three, don't punch down. Hitting people who have less power than you, not okay. It's just not kind. Some people do it. I don't think it's ethical. Just my opinion, so you can make your own. How do we get better at writing humor? We can study techniques. There are books about comedy writing, websites that explain how to do it. Mark Schatz and Mel Helitzer have a book called Comedy Writing Secrets that was helpful to me, along with Judy Carter's The New Comedy Bible, although that's about stand-up comedy. It still helps. Also, challenge yourself to find the humor in your own life. It's a skill to turn the serious into the humorous. Real-life humor is some of the best humor, and you never know when you'll collect something you can use in a fiction story later. But it probably won't surprise you to know that the most effective thing we can do is read comedy. As much of it as we can get our hands on. Nora Ephron, David Sedaris, Amy Poehler, Mindy Kaling, Steve Martin. Those are some of my favorites. Reading always makes us better writers. That's it for today's Writing Tips with Rachel. I hope this video has been helpful to you. I'd love to know any techniques you've used to infuse your stories with humor. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for videos about books and life, and more videos like this. And sign up for my newsletter at racheltolson.com for inspiration, book recommendations, news, and writing prompts. Stay strong, and see you next time.